Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this episode of The Dan Dawson Show. So, most of you who've been watching my show know I was pretty much raised by my grandfather, my father's father, and that's because they own the restaurant stuff. I won't revisit the whole story. I'm pretty sure you've heard it enough. But my grandfather hunted and farmed for a living. That's what he did. It's all he did. He hunted and farmed. And so, of course, being like his second son, I learned to hunt and farm. And there's something he always told me. When you're hunting an animal, if you know the animal, it can never surprise you. Me and Dr. Fax talk about that all the time. That was something Dr. Fax said to me a couple of years ago. That when he said it, it immediately reminded me of what my grandfather had said. If you know the animal, it can never surprise you. Even when you're farming, if you know what you're planting, let's say you're planting greens. If you know greens inside and out, no plant or greens will ever surprise you. You'll understand, anticipate, and prepare for everything that's going to happen with that plant when you plant it. Just the way it is. Think about, for those of you out there that hunt, if you hunt white-tailed buck, is there anything a white-tailed buck can ever do to surprise you? No. If you hunt pigs, is there anything a pig can ever do to surprise you? No. Because you know it inside and out, right? And so that's just something to keep in mind. So what I've prepared here is 3 tips to arguing with liberals. Because you see where I'm at, where I am, it's a lot of hunting, but you got to travel a long distance away. And my business dealings don't allow me to do that very often. So I haven't hunted in probably a while. And I get bored. I'll be sitting here at night, drinking my Jack. So what's Dan do for fun? Dan goes trolling liberals. The fun part about trolling liberals is you don't have to be insulting. All you have to do is disagree or state a fact, and they run with it. They get all super wacky. Then they're mad. When they get mad, that's when Dan starts having fun. So to me, it's kind of like a sport. It's not in the Olympics yet, but I'm hoping that a couple of Olympics from now to be there, and I guarantee you Dan's getting gold. But you know what? I don't want to be the only one that does this. See, I want it to be a team sport. So if a few of you out there, break out your notebooks, your ink pens, Dan's going to teach you a few things. So, when you're trolling liberals, and actually trolling is an old fishing term. You know that, right? It wasn't invented for the internet for when you mess with people. Trolling means trolling for fish in the middle of the night. It's exactly what it means. So Dan likes to go trolling for liberals. Dan's an outdoorsman whose hunting ground is Facebook. Because I'm going to make you feel bad about yourself, because that's what I do. So, especially if you're liberal. So, here's 3 things you probably need to know. Master these 3 things and we'll move on to more things you need to know when you're trolling for liberals. 1, they're very, very low information. You know what? I don't even want to say low information. I want to say they choose not to learn things. And the reason why is actually in point 2, but let's deal with point 1. They're very low information. They have no facts about anything. So on my own personal Facebook, I conducted this little experiment. One week, I put up a post that said, if you're voting for Joe Biden, tell me why without mentioning Donald Trump. That post stayed up for a week. I didn't post anything else, just that post. Not one of my liberal friends could reply. You know why? Because they don't know why they're voting for Joe Biden. All they know is that Don Lemon over at the Crying Negro Network told them to. Their only comeback would have been Trump is racist, but I said don't mention Trump. And they couldn't do it. Even now, if you talk to your liberal friends, and I know a lot of you have liberal friends, I see it on Facebook all the time, and they're giving you crap when you voice a conservative opinion, ask them, what policy is Joe Biden going to put forward that you like? I bet you dollars to donuts they can't answer because they don't know his policies. Very low information, very, very uninformed. No, willfully ignorant, not low information. I've already defined low information. Low information is where you work on a ranch. You get up at freaking 4 o'clock in the morning. You get dressed. You go feed your outside animals. You come home. You make breakfast. You get back out there on the ranch and do what needs to be done. You don't come in until well after the sun goes down. If you're lucky. That's low information. And the reason that's low information is because you have other more important things to do in life. This was willfully ignorant. They have the time and resources to look up the information, but they just don't. They just don't. And the reason why they don't is point number 2. They're overly emotional. Back in the former life when Dan did other things, Dan can't talk about here, a long time ago. When you wanted information from somebody, the trick was to make them emotional. Whether it was happy, sad, frightened, mad, doesn't matter. Once you get emotional, I got you. I don't have to do much else. You're going to give me everything I need to know. Because now you're emotional, you're not making good decisions. Think about it in our own lives. When you're emotional, do you make good decisions? No, you don't. So make them emotional. Now, the easiest way to make them emotional is just by saying, I disagree with you. I like to do it by saying, I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. But you're wrong. It drives them crazy for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's because you have your own standalone opinion and you're not just repeating their opinions out of your mouth. So remember that. Make them emotional by using facts, logic, and video. Now, the third thing is they're inherently racist. The reason I say this is you can look how they talk about the different races. They talk about us like we're all different species. We're all of the human species. But look how they talk about blacks. Look how they talk about Hispanics. Look how they talk about Asians. Like none of us can do anything for ourselves. That's how they talk. To me, that makes you racist. It's a little trickier to pull off proving that they're racist. What I usually like to do is talk them in circles. And they'll make a blanket statement about black people or Asians or Mexicans. I'm like, that's racist. How could you say that? You're racist. So use their own fire against them. Because you can best believe when you say something they don't like, even if it's true, they're going to get emotional. And with their little low information selves, they're going to call you a racist. How do I know? Because Dan's been called a white supremacist. Yes. I've been accused of being in the Klan. Last time I checked, the Klan probably won't have me. Even though, you know what? If they have good catering, who knows? But yeah, I've been accused of being racist, and you're going to be. So what you have to do is before they can do that, just bait them along and let them make that blanket statement and then remind them how racist they're being. And trust me, they will do it because that's their whole talking platform. Listen to Joe Biden, listen to AOC, listen to Kamala, listen to Al Sharpton, listen to any of these people. They're going to make a blanket statement about a race. They're going to. Just remind them how racist they are. Now, a few traps you got to be aware of that liberals like to do is they'll say, well, show me the proof. Well, what Dan does, because I fell for that trap many times, then you go get the proof, then you got to repost it, or you got to post it on whatever you're talking about, right? And they don't even bother reading it. So what I tell them to do is go Google. Everybody has Google. Why don't you go do it? So don't watch your traps, because they'll try to make you seem like the racist. They'll try to make you seem crazy, and they'll try to make you seem wrong. Also, understand they're hypocrites. What applies to you does not apply to them. They can be racist. They can talk bad about women like Gina Carano, Rosario Dawson. They could talk bad about gays. See, BLM in Portland, this one guy jumps in because they're attacking a trans woman. But that's okay. They can do that. Remember, with the whole COVID thing, whenever President Trump held a rally, still my president, whenever President Trump held a rally, they called it a super spreader. You remember the crying Negroes? Don Lemon and what's the other guy's name? With the glasses? I forget, but he cries all the time, so I don't bother remembering his name. But when BLM and Antifa are marching through the streets having protests, half of them not wearing masks, they said nothing. They didn't call that a super spreader. Did you know that from the beginning of this year, BLM and Antifa are responsible for killing more black people than the police? You don't see CNN and MSNBC calling that out, do you? No, because they're hypocrites. So always remember, what applies to you doesn't apply to them. They can do whatever they want. So, with this, if you have liberal friends on Facebook, please take the lessons I've taught you today, have you some fun, and go and troll them. One of my favorite things to do, especially with people who I personally know who are liberals, and I've had friends for a while, is I will try to push them to the point of defriending me. Because to me, that's like bagging a deer. So, but no, have fun with it. Remember, take it serious, have your facts right. But don't let them get you upset. Take a lesson from Jordan Peterson. He's always in control of his emotions when he's debating somebody. And that's where you got to be. Don't let him get you emotional. Just roll with it. Heck, I have fun with it because I know if you have a Fidel Castro tattoo and an LBGT tattoo and a Black Lives Matter shirt, I'm not going to change your mind anyway, so who cares? So I just have fun with it and troll them. So, happy trolling, my friends. Happy trolling. You know what? And if you have some success with trolling, please let me know in the comments below how your trolling went. I would love to hear it. Or if you have any more tips on trolling liberals, please put them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this episode of The Dan Dawson Show. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, keep your paddle dry and do what you got to do.